Mr. Raghavendra Gupta, Chairman of Indian Jute Mills Association, now joining us. Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. And as I mentioned, Jute Mills is against the decision of the centre to grant exemption when it comes to 20% packaging criteria that has been fixed for the Sugar Association. Help us understand why are you against it and why is the centre seeking this exemption?
Yeah, good afternoon. So currently, we have a reservation for packaging of food grain and sugar, food grain to the tune of 100% and sugar for 20%. So like you just mentioned, sugar has by and large been defaulting on their mandatory packaging requirements. And given this, IJMA had moved to court seeking compliance of the mandatory packaging norms on sugar. On this front, the Department of Food, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, they have intervened in the court seeking exemption from this mandatory requirement. They are in favor for discontinuing this packaging requirement for the forthcoming year. And as far as the jute sector is concerned, it will be a huge blow as the jute industry, the capacity is geared up to manufacture close to 15 lakh metric ton of jute goods annually. The raw jute availability is also at par in line with the industry's capacity to make 15 lakh tons annually. But because of reduced demand and imports from Nepal and Bangladesh, these are the subsidized imports coming in from these countries, that the total demand for jute production in India, jute goods production in India doesn't stand over 12.5 lakh metric ton. So this 2.5 lakh metric ton gap can be met by sugar compliance, continued reservation of sugar into the next year, and capping subsidized imports from Bangladesh and India into Bangladesh and Nepal into India.
Percentage of total sales, Mr. Gupta, how much does the jute industry sell to the sugar industry?
Given that 20% compliance would be adhered to, the requirement would stand to the tune of 60,000 metric ton annually. And given their default in this compliance, the offtake is not more than 2 to 3,000 metric ton.
We get that point, but the center is also saying that jute bags have a higher tendency to attract and retain moisture, because of which they do not want the sugar industry to use jute mills for packaging. What will your response be to this?
See, these bags are already BIS approved, and the bags come in with a polyliner. So we would like to dismiss any such contention that has been put up by the sugar lobby.
Licensed suppliers of BIS compliant jute bags are there in India?
Yes, we have five types of sugar bags under BIS norms.
5 types of sugar bags, but how many suppliers do we have in India? Is logistics a problem when it comes to BIS compliant jute bags?
No, not really. The jute industry are fully capable of manufacturing and supplying the BIS norms bags, and logistics should also not be an issue if the packaging requirement is well planned.
Some reports also state that Jute Mills Association has to respond by the 4th of March, that is tomorrow. Help us
Yes.
understand, what will your response be?
Our lawyers are preparing the reply on very similar lines to what I've just mentioned. That is adherence to the BIS norms and taking their supplies with polyliner if they feel moisture can be an issue. So there are two types of sugar bags under BIS which has a polyliner insert.
Understood. We get that point. So, do you expect some kind of resolution to the problem within the next 10 or 15 days? How soon could the problem be resolved?
Now, this matter can only be taken up in the next sugar season because crushing requirements and packaging requirements of the sugar sector is almost over for the year 24-25. So the actual offtake of sugar bags can now only be taken up for next year's packaging requirement 25-26.
Only for the next sugar season will we expect a resolution to this problem. But apart from sugar industry, how has demand from other industries been?
Demand for food grain sector has also taken a hit. That is because of poor procurement of wheat under MSP for the last 2 to 3 years. So whereas the target for wheat procurement is to the tune of 30 to 35 million tons, the actual procurement happening under MSP is hovering between 20 to 27 million tons. So the requirement for jute bags for food grain packaging has also seen a dip from 38 lakh bales of bags required to 33 to 34 lakh bales of requirement in the year 24-25.
Understood. That's as far as the demand from a non-sugar industry is concerned. But one last question with respect to sugar packaging. What are the chances, realistically speaking, of government considering your proposal to not exempt 20% packaging for sugar production?
The sugar norms for 20% has continued for 10 years now. So our request to the central government would be for continued reservation and see compliance of this mandatory packaging norm. So this matter will be taken up by cabinet anytime in the month of March.
Some resolution and will be taken up by the cabinet in the month of March. Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for taking your
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.